Hey y'all, this is my review for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip episode 3. I know they're on episode 5, so I'm going to keep churning these out. Same day, different shirt. So we open this episode, the ladies are all horseback riding through the water. Looks nice, but we're just getting like a drone image of them having fun. We then get to that awful theme song, and then the ladies are now back at the house. Now the timeline is a little crunchy because they open with Kyle in the confessional room and they say it's day 3, 8:30 p.m. But it's clearly during the day because then we go to Cynthia who's saying it's the day after the Bailey Q. So yeah, it's the morning of day 3. And I'm just assuming that these episodes are just going by how many days they were there. So episode 3 is day 3. You would think they get on Peacock, they would have the editing a little bit more polished, but I guess not. But with Kyle and Melissa, and they're talking about Cynthia's game last night, Melissa agrees with Kyle that she felt uncomfortable too. And then Kyle, you know, she's being Kyle and worried about who likes her and who doesn't. And she's still worried that Cynthia is still mad at her. And speaking of which, we see Cynthia on her little private cam and she seems to still feel some type of way. So we see Luann stopping by her room and Cynthia is glad to vent to her about the other night. Yeah, Cynthia clearly went to bed angry because she's standing up. She can't even sit down to talk to Luann. She's saying that she's giving Kyle a pass because she don't know Kyle, but she's really disappointed in Kenya. We come back to Kyle and Melissa's conversation, and Melissa's saying that even outside the game, Cynthia seems to be pissed about something else. Ooh, Cynthia is hot, and she's reminding us that in the beginning of this trip, she went out of her way to make Kenya feel comfortable. I understand Cynthia is angry, but she looks like a prosecutor in court. She's like, Kenya came downstairs, twirled her ass in an hour late. Didn't even sit at the table. She went and got some food, made herself a plate, some mac and cheese. Cynthia needs to chill out just a little bit. I think her expectations are extremely high for her friends. Because you know we saw this with Nene as well. Like, I'm starting to think like Cynthia has a pattern. She hooks herself to these type A friends like Nene for one thing. We saw that happen. And now it's happening with Kenya. And I feel like at some points we've seen how Nene's taking advantage of Cynthia's kindness as well as Kenya. Yep, Luann calls it, Cynthia has expectations that Kenya probably can't meet. Cynthia tells her that she plans on having a one-on-one with Kenya at some point in the day. All the ladies are meeting downstairs for breakfast. Kenya's upstairs in virtual divorce court. Most of the women are downstairs. Kyle comes down, tells the ladies hello. You can clearly tell how icy Cynthia is towards Kyle because they were really getting along in the first episode. So again, Kyle apologizes to Cynthia if she feels like she ruined her game or pissed her off. Cynthia acknowledges Kyle's apology. I'm not sure if she accepts it, but she's reassuring to Kyle that there was no maliciousness behind the game. She did change the game rules to make a lot of the ladies comfortable. I think Kyle should just stop talking about it, just move on, because if she keeps bringing it up to Cynthia, Cynthia's going to feel some type of way about it. Cynthia will be over it in due time. Kyle asked her, are you upset at Kenya? And she said, that's a whole different conversation. Me and Kenya are going to talk. That was a nice way of her telling Kyle, this is none of your business. Like, even though she's mad at Kenya, she's not going to talk shit about Kenya to the other ladies. But I don't think, Kenya would do the same thing for Cynthia. So then Kenya comes downstairs to join the other ladies. She just finished her court hearing. She's obviously upset. The ladies are trying to comfort her. Cynthia does not give a fuck how Kenya is doing right now. But Kenya's complaining to the ladies saying that it's on YouTube, so it's for public view. People are saying all their comments. She's clearly upset. Cynthia's in her confessional saying she loves Kenya, but she's upset with her right now. And the same energy Kenya had for her feelings the night before, Cynthia's returning the favor. It really sucks seeing the two black girls have a problem with each other. And they came together. But, I mean, it's a friend like Kenya, so I'm not surprised. Kenya continues to tell the other women about her divorce situation with Mark. Kyle asks her, how long have you been married? Kenya says, well, actually, I'm still kind of married. She says 4 years, but we know the math. Like, they never lived together. They got separated, I want to say, a little bit before 2 years. I feel like they were married for 1.5 years, then separated for the rest of it. but she's really gonna count that as 4 years of marriage, okay? So there's a little funny moment. Luann offers Kenya some potato salad. She says, no thanks, for breakfast? But we know she probably refused it because Cynthia made the potato salad, because she shaded it in the last episode. So the topic then goes from dating to DMs to sex talk, and Luann asked Cynthia, what was that party y'all had where the stripper is? And then we're reminded of Bolo with the flashback. This was Cynthia's bachelorette party. They're now discussing Bolo's big penis. Apparently Luann is a fan of Bolo because there's a video out of Bolo fucking a melon and it explodes. Is that real? Can someone send that to me in my DMs, please? Y'all have full range to send me that in my DMs because I'm just curious. Ramona looks very uncomfortable, and we know from her franchise that she hates sex talk at the table, but she's one of the most sex-crazed ones. Not Ramona talking about class, elegance, and decorum, things that she does not possess. Oh my God, and now we're talking about masturbating, and then Melissa asked Teresa if she bring a toy. Teresa says she uses her hands. I don't want to hear that. Fast forward. So now all the ladies are getting ready for the activities today. The itinerary is coordinated by Luann this time. The concierge stops by her room. There's some clear chemistry going on between them, and the shady cameraman keeps zooming in on the man's wedding ring. Like that really makes a difference to Luann. If you're not familiar with Luann, she does not give a shit if a man is married or not. Go tune into Roni, some of the earlier seasons. But we do see it's not one-sided flirting on Luann's part. Like the guy is flirting with her too. We see that like a little flashback. He's speaking French to her and then telling her that he's sexy. He knows what he's doing too. We see Teresa in that scene in the flashback, and as he's talking to Luann, Teresa interrupts, "Are you married?" And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I see your wedding ring right there. I'm glad Teresa clocked that too. Like their body language right now, they're so close to each other. You can tell Luann and this man has fucked on this trip. So the ladies are about to play volleyball. Kyle must be hanging around Melissa too long on this trip because she's starting to look a little Jersey-ish to me. So then we see Kenya telling Melissa and Kyle that she thinks that Cynthia is mad at her. Now, you notice how she didn't have no problem discussing Cynthia with them, but Cynthia definitely didn't want to air Kenya out to the other ladies. That's the difference already how they both view friendship. And we continue to see that Kenya is not shit. So now she tells Melissa that she thinks that Cynthia sees them getting along really well and she might be jealous. I really can't believe this. Candy would never do that to Cynthia, but of course Kenya does this. I really hope there's a reunion for this. I really do. Because I need to see Cynthia confront Kenya on this. Side note, Melissa's body is amazing. Like between her and Luann, they have like the best bodies there. So it looks like there's a few men joining the ladies to play volleyball, and one of them is the guy Ramona knows, John, the owner of that restaurant they went to. So the ladies finished playing volleyball. They're all chilling right now, enjoying margaritas. They look really good. I might need a drink right now. P.S. Drink episode is next on the way for you Patreon viewers. So then we find out that later in the evening is going to be Kyle's night to coordinate things. She's going to have a dinner as well as an astrologer to read the ladies' fortunes. What is it with Kyle and these fortune tellers? Anyway, you know they're going to do a callback to season 1 when Kyle got into it with that other chick who was like an astrologer or a psychic or something. They're all also headed to the spa shortly, and Cynthia lets the other ladies know, yeah, I can use the spa day right now because there's a lot of tension I'm feeling right now. All the ladies, especially Kyle and Melissa, pick up on that passive aggression. And then we see Cynthia telling Kenya, can they have a talk privately? So Cynthia's calling out Kenya's behavior from the previous night, how she came down late. She had food for herself, even though she didn't wait for nobody else. And then also, didn't really have her back that night. And she said that she wasn't supportive. Now, in this moment, I think Kenya could have just, apologized to her and then reassured her that I have your back. But no, Kenya didn't do that. She brings up her point to which that they're in a different situation right now. They're not in Atlanta, in their inner circle. And she's telling Cynthia that she needs to adapt. And I think that's a disconnect because Cynthia is just talking about more so she was upset that you wasn't being a good friend. And Kenya doesn't see it that way. Kenya is more concerned about how she's coming off to the other ladies. She don't care if, she's leaving Cynthia out in the cold. I love that Cynthia put Ramona as an example. That if Ramona did what you did last night, you know you would have had a problem with Ramona too. Ooh, they going back and forth, and Kenya's just being really dismissive. Like, I'm on Cynthia's side on this one. Like, I would be frustrated too if you're not hearing me. Just apologize. I definitely, after this episode, see how Kenya and Cynthia aren't as cool as they were after this trip. Yeah, they're going back and forth right now. I don't think there's going to be much resolve. Then we see Kenya in her confessional saying that, you know, on her show, usually she's the one that's pushed out. And on this one, she's actually vibing with the other ladies, and Cynthia, her friend, is jealous about it? Wow. I mean, it's mostly because these ladies don't know you. You've been on Atlanta for years, and the women have gotten to see who you really are. And then she points out that Cynthia isn't the one vibing with the ladies. So Cynthia and Kenya join the other ladies, and I really don't think they solved the fight between them. So it is what it is right now, I guess. Wow, it's so funny seeing these ladies sing Luann's song. Like, again, money can't buy your class. It is a catchy song though. Melissa is drunk. Maybe that's why she's singing that song. I'm also loving the dynamic of Melissa and Kyle. Like, they're really funny together. And in this little scene where she's making fun of Melissa's accent, and then Kyle does Ramona's voice, Kyle is really good at impressions. So the ladies are at lunch now. The topic of the conversation is Ramona and this guy that she likes, John, who owns the restaurant. For Kenya not to like Ramona, she sure keep asking her questions about her love life. Cut to Ramona in her confessional. She's like, listen, Kenya can't even keep a man. Look, at times, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that goes for Ramona, and it goes for Kenya sometimes. I personally love seeing two people I can't stand going at it, so I'm living for this whole Ramona versus Kenya feud throughout the season. So Kyle's letting the ladies know what they should expect later in the evening when the astrologer comes by. Then they're talking about, you know, astrology and like who's a Taurus at the table. Ramona says that she's a Taurus, which probably makes sense. Teresa's a Taurus too, and she said, like, you know, they're both stubborn. Then Teresa says, I think as I've grown older, I've become less stubborn. Melissa laughs and says, that's a lie. So then Cynthia asks Melissa the dynamic between the two of them. Like, you know, are they friends? Like the sister-in-law thing, like how they became to be on the show. Melissa lets the other ladies know, like, they've come a long way and they're usually good, but then they're at odds when people try to interfere in their relationship. So that's when Ramona asks both of them, okay, true or untrue? Teresa, you knew that she was going to be on the show. Teresa says, no, I didn't know. And then this is what causes the tension. I'm wondering, did Ramona know what she was doing when she asked him that question? Because if there's any question to get those two to argue, it's that one. So according to Teresa, Melissa joined the show behind her back. And that's what started this whole feud with them. I mean, we know she never liked Melissa. And then according to Melissa, producers asked her did she want to be on the show. And she said that they let Teresa know about it. Teresa is 10 toes down saying she did not know. Like, the only thing I knew was Andy was messaging me saying that, oh, your sister-in-law keeps begging me to be on the show. Then she tells her, you know, you need to take that up with Andy Cohen. That's what he said. So now I really want them to have a reunion so Andy Cohen can finally put to bed on who's right in this situation. But now all the ladies are noticing that, uh-oh, are they about to go at it? Because it does look bad when you're on an all-star trip and you're going at it with your cast member you came with. And so far, it looks like, well, Ramona kind of got into it with Luann already. Cynthia already got into it with Kenya. You know what? They really thought long and hard about who to cast on this because it looks like maybe everybody has tension between them. Side note, the real tea is in the book, y'all. And after reading that chapter, like, definitely, they're both sticking to their stories. Oop, and Melissa puts Teresa on blast. She said before she came on the show in season 3, Teresa refused to sign her contract and waited till the very last minute to sign on. That's in the book. I was going to read that as an excerpt. I probably still can. But anyway, yeah, Teresa's disagreeing, but I totally can see Teresa doing that. And then we get a flashback to the infamous christening, where they had that huge brawl. Teresa then brings up the Godfather movie again, saying, did y'all see the Godfather? You never go against the family. I honestly believe Teresa wanted to be the queen of Jersey, even though she still is. She was very intimidated by having her sister-in-law and her brother on the show. I also believe that Melissa really wanted to be on the show. I mean, it could only benefit her by being on it. And maybe she wasn't getting along with Teresa at the time. Maybe that's why she didn't call her directly to say that she was on it. They both just have different versions of the truth. Ramona is clearly enjoying this and is on Teresa's side. Like, she tells Melissa, well, why didn't you text her? Melissa's like, you're not listening. Ramona is now intimidated and shuts her mouth. Don't mess with the Jersey girls. What did you say, Ramona, in her confessional? First she says Third World 2. And she's like, oh wait, I made a mistake. Third World 3. World War 3. We're basically all getting the ladies' opinions in the confessionals of Melissa and Teresa's dynamic. And I agree with Cynthia, like, they are strictly friends through being sister-in-laws. Like, they do not like each other beyond that. So thankfully, they changed the subject and they all go for their massages. I do kind of relate to Melissa and Teresa's situation where, you know, where you've had a friend for years and maybe y'all fell out one time, and anytime y'all bring that topic up, y'all still have your own view of the situation. Y'all will never see eye to eye on it. I have friends like that too, so I get it, but I really think they should never bring that up. So now the ladies are getting their massages. Luann continues to flirt with the married concierge. Cynthia is getting an orgasm from getting her feet rubbed. I get it, Luann, that you have a nice body, but I'm tired of seeing it. I really am. Later on, we see Melissa and Teresa together alone, and Melissa's just checking to see if her and Teresa are good. And Teresa's like, yeah. And it's nice that they both agree that they'll never see eye to eye on it, and they just have to agree to disagree on it. So it's later in the evening. The ladies are all dressed for Kyle's dinner and the Astrologer. It's taking place at a different property. We see that someone in the cast is still leaking things that's happening online because Kyle is reading it on Twitter. They arrive to the property. They're taking pictures. Again, Ramona's being rude to the staff. I mean, this is the general manager, and she's talking to him like, you know, like a waiter. So the Astrologer comes in, and her makeup, it's very questionable. It reminds me actually of Rob's makeup. I'll keep calling this woman Rob because of Alex. Her makeup reminds me of Robin's from Potomac, but this woman here, she has this insane bright blue eyeshadow with bright red lips. Even the music that production is playing when she walked in is shady. Now Melissa, I'm calling shade. So she tells the woman, oh, you look like this beautiful woman. And then she says cartoon character. I'm like, wait a minute. First you're saying she's beautiful, but then you say she looks like a cartoon character. Then it was a Disney villain, and now she says she looks like Cruella de Vil. Saying that someone looks like Cruella de Vil is not a compliment. And the ladies are laughing, and then the Astrologer is not amused. Maybe in the live action movie, but you said the cartoon, and that woman looks manic. I might have to put up a picture. Now I'm listening to the Astrologer give all these ladies their fortunes. This is a crock of shit. Either all the ladies were men in another life, or they were queens in another life. Like, I'm not about to review each and every one of these. Clearly this woman Googled all the ladies and started from there. So the hack fortune teller leaves, and the ladies are just having conversation. And King is talking about like when she was in a beauty pageant world or whatever. Cynthia is trying to enter the conversation, and she keeps getting cut off by her friend, Kenya. Cut to Cynthia in her confessional. She keeps saying that she's being cut off by her friend. It's hard for her to get a word in the conversation. Oh, poor Cynthia. I'm sure this trip is not going how she planned. Damn, and production does a little rewind, and they showed every interruption that Kenya did to Cynthia. They're at number 5 now. Ooh, Kenya almost got me with this show. Almost. But we know she is still an asshole no matter what franchise she's on. They're at interruption 6 now. I wonder if any of the other ladies noticed this. And speaking of things not going Cynthia's way, we see her in her confessional saying that when her and Kenya was going into this, she thought it was going to be, you know, Thelma and Louise, like Us and Them. When in actuality, like, Kenya is vibing with these other ladies and she just left her hanging out to dry. It sucks that Cynthia got screwed again by another type A personality friend. And now we are at the Housewives After Dark. So the ladies are back at the house. They all look tired except for Kyle. I'm noticing that Kyle is the one that likes to turn up. And I noticed on Beverly Hills, they would always be up after hours. These other ladies, they can't handle it. Cynthia's like me. I got another hour left in me and I'm done. Yeah, so it looks like Cynthia's tapping out. She's telling her, look, girl, people are tired. We are dropping like flies. It looks like Ramona is there to join Kyle again at the end of the night. Kyle is clearly high and drunk, so she calls Mauricio on FaceTime and she's trying to make her own margarita. Kyle did not just tell Ramona, you gotta listen to the Mexican. I mean, she could get away with it. Mauricio is Mexican. It's whatever. Oh, and then we end the episode on a very shady note. Kyle is telling Ramona like how boring the ladies are being. And she said, you know what we call those type of ladies on my franchise? Ex-housewives. Damn, okay. She right though, she right. So episode 3 was kind of like filler. It was okay. But we definitely saw like little cracks in the alliances that people came into the situation with. Like, for example, with Melissa and Teresa, and then with Kenya and Cynthia. Kenya really ain't shit how she just threw Cynthia under the bus. Like, I feel really bad for Cynthia, because Cynthia's a really good friend. Otherwise, yeah, Luann and Ramona, they continue to go at it. They're frenemies too. But even though it's filler, it's still very enjoyable, very light, like I said. And definitely going to try to catch up later this week with episodes 4 and 5 before they debut episode 6. So look out for that. I'm going to try to edit as soon as possible. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Patreon, then I will definitely see you later for the cocktail video. Bye.